Hey guys, welcome back to my podcast session. I am Jane Burnett, and I'm here with three wonderful people. I'm just going to give them the chance to introduce themselves. So I think we can just have this.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Valerie. I am a tattoo artist and a mindfulness coach slash yoga teacher. I've been living in China for quite a long time. I met Jane not so long ago, and I'm very happy to be a returning guest on this podcast.
Alright, you guys. She was here from the last one when we talked about
Something about mindfulness.
yes, so just something very related to this one. So I'm just gonna give the mic to Albert. Albert, please.
Yeah, what's up? My name is Albert, and I'm here. Suddenly, I'm here to talk about different things. And used to travel a lot around the world, and we could discuss about many things all together. Let's see what's happening.
Thank you. That's a nice introduction. And Frank, I'm just gonna give you some minutes to talk about yourself. Okay.
Hello everyone, I'm from Mongolia and I'm enthusiastic about anything which can give me deep inspiration. Nature is half of my life and I got connected with the whole world.
That is nice.
You are nice. Thank you. All right, so I'm just gonna dive to the topic for today, which is about overthinking, and second about self-sabotage and how we can stop that. Because I feel like in this world today, with the whole technology and everything, it's very easy to be lost in our thoughts. So I have the mindfulness coach here, and also Albert, and also Frank. I think we can just put minds together, roll pairs together, and talk about this. So I'm going to start with Valerie because she has everything written down. She's a lifesaver for today's podcast. Valerie.
Right. I'm gonna take the microphone for a
Please
second.
do. Yes.
I wanna start with saying that it's good that you mentioned the nowadays
I
with the
always do.
technology and everything, because that was exactly one of my points. There was a recent research that's been conducted saying that every day each of us process 74 gigabytes of information. Our brain
Every day.
is every day. So if you imagine like your phone, how much memory does your phone have?
Around 256
Yeah.
should be right.
Right? So, like, imagine you process like a fourth, my math is not good, of that daily. It's like you're constantly bombarded with information from the outside, and then you keep bombarding yourself with your own information on the inside. So, it is a lot. So, there's this thing called cognitive load. Everything that affects you from the outside is obviously affecting you because your brain constantly needs to process everything that's around you. But imagine how difficult it is to have all this information constantly in your head, around your head. I mean, it must be, like, it is tough.
It is.
Yeah?
It is.
What do you think?
You think that's what causes like overthinking in the basic sense?
I don't think that is the basis of it, but it
But
certainly
it's the foundation.
So the foundation, it certainly contributes to it. So imagine if you were in a quiet place doing nothing and you needed to process something, it would be much easier to process because your brain capacity, right, it's very finite capacity. If you spend that on processing noise and people around you, especially here in China, how many people we encounter every single day, right? And your brain's like, if we look at the percentage, you process this, you process that, then you go to work and you meet people, and then you need to think about something, you're already tired. Your attention span is already tired, right? How would you describe your personal overthinking? Where would that stem from for you?
For me, okay, I would just start with a recent story. I think it was Thursday or so, this Sunday, and I had this, I don't know, a full time of overthinking. Just the whole day, my day was messed up, Valerie. And I was thinking about a whole lot, even the things I'm not supposed to think. And at some point, I thought it was the internet. I went offline, but I was still having that in mind. And that was why I said, do you think the internet, or maybe what has been happening to us as the foundation of, is we just collecting the data so that when we collect a certain amount of data and it's time for us to overthink, let me not say it's time, maybe just unfortunately the overthinking stage comes, it's hate so bad that you don't understand where it's coming from. So personally for me on Thursday, I was down with thinking about a lot, like graduation, what's my life gonna be after graduation, and some personal stuff, something just like that. So back to your question, I feel like there's no definite answer to this one, to be honest with you. There's no definite answer to why we overthink or why we process the data we process every day. So maybe let's just go on, obviously, and I want to learn. Today, I would like to learn. I don't want to be the host for today. I want to be the guest, and also I want to be a student, if that permits me. Okay, so maybe Albert, we could channel this question to Albert.
Yes.
What do you think causes overthinking? And have you ever been in the situation where you just find yourself overthinking about unnecessary stuffs?
To be honest, I'm not sure can I express my feeling very well. By the way, I want to mention that I really accept the Valeria's point about that nowadays there are plenty of information is flying around us, and we can easily compare today's life with, for example, maybe no need to go so far, but maybe 100 years ago, there was no Instagram, no YouTube, as well as no social medias, and people was concentrated on the things they did. For example, if somebody is a porter, he or she just making clothes. If somebody is a, I don't know, baker, farmer, I don't know, they just concentrating exactly what are they doing. And I think,
Not comparing. Sure.
yes, and I think nowadays this is a key to refuse some of this unnecessary information which we can find everywhere. Because most of information we receive today, it's not only unnecessary, it's even can damage.
It is. Yes, it is. Because it opens the room for condemnation for ourselves, and
That's
also
true.
comparison.
That's sure. This is the reason I like to use my notebook. This is the reason I like to use my phone or computer to keep some information I really need for today or tomorrow or maybe the day before. I need to check some points I did yesterday sometimes. And this is the way how I can plan my day for today. And to be honest, I don't think about overthinking or not overthinking. I don't care about it. If I feel tired, I just have a rest. I mean, I just follow my instincts. I'm following my feelings. And this is a way how can I survive.
Oh my god.
I have a point to say
Sure.
that might sound sexist, but men are not such good overthinkers as women. Do you agree with that?
I don't.
Because he says, when I'm tired, I take a rest. When I'm tired, I lie down and I keep overthinking.
Exactly.
It's
Oh my
difficult.
gosh. This was me on Thursday, you guys. It was hell for me. Like, I had the chance and the time to sleep, but there was no sleep. And when you step into the realm of overthinking, it's very hard to get out of it. Even when you talk to someone, it's within you. It just takes the grace of maybe God in this case, or yourself, to get out of there. So if you guys if you overthink and you just sleep about it, you are lucky. I don't know how I just snap out of it. And one thing about girls, maybe it's the hormones or something. When we think we are okay, maybe 2 days later we come back to what was doing. Like it's it's not funny. It's not funny. So you are lucky if you have a note. You jot things down and you overthink. You're like, I'm overthinking. That is, you are lucky. We
It
are
sounds
not
like this, but exactly not like. I mean,
really.
I cannot describe my feelings by words. I just
Okay.
tell you my overall plan how to exist.
Okay.
He has a really good point.
Okay.
Thank you. That was one of my bullet points I wanted to talk about: how to battle, how to combat overthinking, and Albert already touched on that. Restrict unnecessary information,
Like what?
like Instagram, like YouTube, like what else?
Is it just
Anything
for the
social?
moment, or
It depends. It depends. So if you treat yourself like you are your home, right? You're the only person you have to live with your whole life,
sure, you are your God.
right? Right. And you need to filter what goes in. Goes into your body when you eat, goes into your mind when you think. And overthinking is a habit. It's a bad habit.
It's a habit.
Overthinking is a habit, right? If you that was one of my other points, but if you filter information that goes in, then it's much easier to control that. So, for example, as Albert says, when I do something, I just focus on doing that. I have things that I need to focus on for today, and he just does that. That's it. Like when I work, I turn off my notifications. I put my phone on the work mode. Nothing comes through. I bet Frank. Nothing comes through. Nobody can enter my room. Like I set myself a timer for 3 hours. Instagram, comparison, YouTube, nothing bothers me. It's out of there. Like I have that control of leaving that outside of the door. And it's so liberating when you know that Instagram doesn't affect me the way it's supposed to. So yeah, you gotta filter.
Do you do this like when it's time for work? I
Yes.
think we talked about it like the first time we met. You said 10 o'clock and you don't have to switch on your phone or touch your phone. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 p.m. I have the what is it called? The downtime.
Uh-huh.
So the notifications are off. I don't watch anything. I might watch something that I downloaded on my laptop, so I don't have the annoying suggestions on YouTube that keep you going down the rabbit hole.
I get it.
You know. So I'm like, this is my downtime. The phone is off. The computer is on. I watch 1 or 2 episodes, and then I go to sleep. Nothing affects me.
Okay, and I love the fact you talked about trying to, when we were planning about this, I'm just gonna jump into that because this is what I want to learn today. How do you snap out of overthinking? It's not gonna be easy, especially when you're going through maybe changes or hard times and this overthinking strikes in. How do you snap out of it? Apart from sleeping, because I don't sleep when I overthink. I am very well.
I do not say nothing about my napping.
Oh, really?
Yes?
When you-
This is your thoughts.
Okay, what do you mean?
I said I have a rest.
He did say that.
I said I have a rest.
Okay, I interpreted that as sleeping. What kind of rest? Like rest from social? Like I want to learn that.
I will tell you.
Okay.
Actually, I want to come back a little and I want to say that I really enjoy the point Valerie said that overthinking, as well as Instagram and YouTube, this is also kind of overthinking, right? It's a habit. I completely agree with this because I still believe that human and animals, they are very close, and not only close, but maybe the same. We have the same habits as well, and our main habits here is about surviving, right?
Lizard brain. Lizard brain.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
The only thing we can see nowadays, what's different between monkey, for example, and not monkey, let's say the dog, and for example, woman. I don't know, or maybe man.
Oh.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't want to be sexist, but I just want to say, okay. Let me say person, okay? Person.
That got weird very fast.
I just want to
Oh my
catch your
God,
reaction.
battery,
I just want to
stop
catch your reaction, okay?
Okay.
So about the person, for example, and the, I don't know, cat, for example.
A cat.
I really don't want to say nothing bad, right? So cat and person, what's the real difference between them? Because the people at all, the human, we have intelligence. This is what different between us and animals. But we have the same point of survivals. We need food, we need reproduction system, we need sleep well, and we need to cover shelter, to cover our heads. This is what we really need. Other things is about our intelligence, as well as overthinking. If we will see the cat, probably she or it will never do it with herself. And this is what is really different. Habits. Once we get Instagram and YouTube, we used to watching it every morning maybe, or maybe every evening. It becomes our habit. We cannot live without overthinking anymore. We want. This is our wish to have this kind of overthinking.
But it's not done every day. Overthinking is not done every day.
No, it's pretty much done. Well, if that's your habit, if that's your response to most of the situations, that is how you operate, right? If you get out of that habit, it stops affecting you. So I wanna say a little bit more on your point that we're similar to animals, which is completely true, because we still have that part of our ancient brain. I think it's called amygdala. I'm not sure. It's inside your brain, and it does respond to gratification the same way it does in animals. So, for example, why do we like Instagram so much? Especially like when we get likes or views or when we watch reels. Because it gives you that gratification. The likes give you that boost of serotonin.
Like someone likes you, or you're
Yes.
among.
Right? The same for an animal that ate a grape, I don't know. They get that, that's a reward. So on the basic ancient level, this is a reward system.
Can I mention a little? So, how it works? Because, to be honest, all the people are lazy.
Oh yeah, sure. Like
We
all
can
of
say,
us.
all of us,
All of
definitely,
us.
we are.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
even Frank is lazy, right?
definitely, all of us, we are lazy. And once we get something easy to do, for example, like Valeria just said, we get some serotonin in our brain. How to do it easier? You can go for a hike, or you can watch Instagram.
Watch
What
a
will
video.
you do? Probably, I don't want to say about all the people it's all right, but probably some of you will choose Instagram just to get the dose of
You know
this
why? The brain
dopamine.
the brain is lazy. You're absolutely right. The brain wants the shortest way to gratification. That's
Not
why we
only
like
shorter,
sugar.
but also easiest. To do not
Easiest,
spend
shortest.
energy.
Yes.
Yes, I totally agree
Like,
with that.
we dug into ancient brain way too deeply right now. Let's go back to the overthinking. I have a question for you guys. What do you think is the difference between normal thinking, productive thinking, and overthinking? How do you? Because I think we need to identify that as the first step of our conversation and our formula.
Okay, can I direct this question to Frank?
Good luck.
Okay, Frank. We have a question here, and I would like you to briefly talk about it. What do you think is the difference between thinking normally and overthinking? Because you're from Inner Mongolia and you're in Jinan, maybe you have a time you overthink about a lot of things. What is the difference between when you think normally and when you overthink about things? You understand my question?
When I think normally, I just can notice the simple rules. I ignore so much deep questions about life. The overthinking, I consume energies and lost so much courage, consuming time. So, and most there just go straight to something. they have the instinct different from human beings. Human beings get too much the consequences. Strong man talk about ideas. Average man talk about events. Weak man talk about people. So try to avoid discussing people.
That's a really good point.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Oh my god. It just blew my mind right now.
Yeah, you're right, because
It's absolutely right.
because talking about other people, which is gossip, is a way of overthinking, and it is unproductive. This is considered to be unproductive thinking. You're absolutely right. What about you?
In my opinion, I think that dividing the difference, not dividing, but the difference between overthinking and thinking is not too big as we're talking about. Why I think so? Because without overthinking, you cannot recognize thinking, and without thinking, you cannot recognize overthinking. I mean, these are two parts of the same coin.
Sounds like overthinking to me.
Valerie!
I just think this is a really two sides of the same coin. And for me, the way to refuse, the way to skip, to abandon even these kind of things is just do not think about it too much. I mean, overthinking is okay, as well as thinking. You just do whatever you want to do. And sometimes if you feel overthinking, you have some ways to become to the normal way. If you just doing your thinking job, just do whatever you want to do. And the question here was like,
What's the difference
what's
between
not
thinking-
only the difference, but also, to get the right idea, probably before you get the right idea, you will have overthinking.
Oh, I'm gonna talk about that.
This is deep.
I mean,
I thought about it.
there again, to come back to my words, there are the same sides of the same coin. There are different sides of the same coin. Without overthinking, there is no thinking.
So you cannot realize you're overthinking without first thinking about something.
Sure.
I'm gonna go deeper on this thought because you have a point, but I'm just gonna extend on it and explain my view on it, because there is a difference, because there is productive problem-solving thinking, which you mentioned, and overthinking, which doesn't lead to anything. So as I said, overthinking is unproductive. First of all, the time you spend on productive thinking is different, right?
Friends also make
Exactly.
time consuming.
Overthinking is time consuming and it doesn't lead to any action, which is my second point. So you mentioned that thinking leads to action, that is productive. Overthinking doesn't lead to any action, it's just a simple rumination which is going over and over and over the same thing. So that is the basis of the difference. There are people who think deeply and for a long period of time, but that doesn't necessarily mean it is overthinking. You know what I mean? So if you want to open a YouTube channel or do a project or write a book, right? You think about that book for a year or two. Would you consider that overthinking?
No.
Not really.
It's just thinking.
It's just thinking, right? We all have our own capacity, our own limits, and our own time frame. So out of all this, I would make a summary that action is probably the most important thing.
No matter if you're thinking or taking action.
Taking action. Like, if you think, doesn't matter how long, if you take action after that, it's not considered overthinking.
So what action do you take while overthinking?
You don't. You just ruminate.
That's the difference now.
Yes. What do you think about that?
Don't you think that overthinking is has very, very large meaning For example, just now you mentioned that you want to buy a book, for example.
Not buy, write.
Write a book around 2 years, right?
Let's say.
And you're still thinking about it. Can we call it overthinking?
No. If you end up not writing a book after 2 years, that's overthinking. If you end up writing it and you spend that time researching, meeting people, making drafts, I don't know, finding a publisher, that is productive thinking. That's my point.
Yeah, but do we really need to divide these meanings?
Yes, we do, because that's the point. Because some people might beat themselves up for thinking a long time, but this is not a bad thing. So I like to sit down and just think about stuff. Would that be necessarily bad? Depends. If I beat myself up, if I don't do anything about it, that is bad. That is overthinking. This is waste of my time and brain capacity. If I sit down, think, write a plan, do something, then it's productive.
I think I get her point, and I think I get your point. She's talking about when you think about something, like think deeply about something, and you don't just think about it, you beat yourself about something you're thinking about. For example, I'm going to use like a breakup as an example. It's okay. You maybe broke up with someone, and you just overthink about, is it my fault? Could it be their fault? Like, what if I had done something different? Like, what if he has done something different? It wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have been like separated or something. So when you overthink about things, it's totally normal to think about something after a breakup. But when you start beating yourself up or backbiting, there's a word called backbiting, like punishing yourself, start blaming yourself, start calling yourself's name without having a plan B or without having action to probably, do you want to be a better person in your next relationship, or do you want to forgive yourself for whatever might have happened? That is called overthinking without action. And that's when overthinking is dangerous. But I think overthinking can be of an advantage. In this case, I think we're all free to overthink, because I'm not sure we can live without overthinking. That means we don't want to grow. But to me, if we overthink without having a solution, then that is bad. But if we overthink but are willing to be corrected or have action or probably want to do something about that, then that's very good to overthink. But overthinking without having a plan B or an action, it's very bad for our health, mentally, physically, whatever. Yeah. So that's what Valerie's talking about. And for you, Albert, I think you're talking about, for example, the book writing stuff. When someone talk about writing a book for 2 years, and Valerie's talking about thinking about something without really doing it. So I want to buy a bottle of water, but I'm broke. So how can I get it? Is getting money. So maybe I leave main coffee without buying anything. And the next time I come here, if I still come here without having a money, that means I just wasted my time thinking I want to get a water, not going back home and probably working for my money. So that is called not even overthinking. That is just waste of time. I can call that overthinking, because overthinking should be used for something better. But that is waste of time. So
I think we should drop.
Okay.
I think we should drop the term overthinking, because I would just keep calling it unproductive thinking.
I think that's the word.
Yeah.
That should be the word.
Yeah, because overthinking could be good, could be
Like
bad.
I just said, it has an advantage. Actually, makes you realize you have to think about something.
I want to talk about why we keep doing it. Why do we end up in unproductive thinking cycles? It's also very deeply based in our fear of uncertainty, fear of unknown. Why do you overthink? Why do you unproductively think? Because you, first of all, have a fake feeling of control. You think you can control the situation by going over all of the what ifs you can imagine. Like, what if this? I'll do this. What if this? I'll do that. So this control, this fear of uncertainty and unknown. Also, a very good point that I found out, the unproductive thinking, it's a form of, you think, this is a form of action. But you consider yourself doing something important. You say, oh, I'm going to sit down and think about all the terrible, catastrophic outcomes that may happen. I'm doing something. I'm doing important work right now. Don't disturb me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think you're completely right in this way because our brain is thinking, oh my god, I still need to do something. What can I do? Should I go somewhere? No. But I sit down and think about it. It will be much more easier.
Wow. But do you guys think that's healthy?
It's
Of
natural.
course not.
I wouldn't say it's unhealthy. I'll say it's just natural to us. Because brain needs to be busy, but still doing something not very challenging. That's why we go right. That's why we go the shortest possible way of doing something, but not actually doing something.
This is, again, to come back to our beginning, this is how our brain works.
Yeah.
For example, animals, they will choose another way to solve the problem.
Animals don't have the abstract thinking ability. That's what makes them animals.
Yes.
An animal breaks its leg. It doesn't go, oh, I wish I could have done this differently. Oh, poor me right now. No, they say, they don't. They think, that's
Just
the way it is now. Right?
Yeah.
And they keep going. Humans are not like that.
So should we learn from animals?
I think we should.
Sometimes we should actually. We should learn from them. We should try to accept things. Because one thing about human is we hardly accept the truth. And like Valerie said something like earlier, we should try to accept the things we cannot control.
Yes, that's...
That is my personal problem. I want to control a lot of things. I want things to be right. I want people to be nice. But we cannot control everything. So I think we should talk about that. How can we stop wanting to control everything? Like, I want to meet this person. Oh, I want to help this person. Or I'm in a situation and I know I cannot control it, but I'm still forcing myself to control it. How can I stop that?
Well, the main way to deal with that is to have a mind.
A hard mind?
No. You need to shift your mindset. It's not that easy. It's also a habit. You need to not just, oh, I accept the fact that these things are out of my control. No. You need to train your brain like you train your muscles in the gym, that to identify things you can, things you cannot control. You can only control 3 things: your thoughts, your actions, your reactions. That's all. Anything else in the world, in the entire world, is out of your control. If you accept that, this is so liberating, I'm telling you. Like, this is the stoic approach to life, where why I don't get upset if it rains. Because I don't have control over the stupid weather. If it rains, it rains. If something happens, it wasn't my choice that they did that. It's not my fault. Only my thoughts, my actions, my reactions are in my control. Even, let me make it easier. Even your thoughts are not entirely in your control. Your reaction to your thought is in your control. You can be sitting there and having these ruminations.
Yes, exactly.
If you decide to ignore it, just say, let it be there. Let it be there. I don't care. It will stop eventually.
You will?
It will, 100%.
Jesus Christ. I don't know, like, this is a skill me, JB, I want to learn. Because I overthink sometimes and I want to get them solved.
Let me give you some practical ways, and then we can all discuss them.
Okay.
First of all, my favorite, scheduled worry.
Okay.
Scheduled
I think
worry.
You mentioned that the last podcast?
No, I mentioned it before the podcast.
Oh, yeah. think what you mentioned was the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
But I do that a lot.
Yes. So you schedule time for yourself to sit down, to overthink, to worry the hell out of your mind. Like on Thursday night, I sit down and for 2 hours, I'm gonna make up the worst possible scenarios and just go unleash myself. And then you train yourself to do that. So you have the scheduled worry time. And that's one of the things you can do. Like I do that sometimes. The other thing, as I said, would be restricting unnecessary information that I mentioned before. Restricting what goes in. If I am prone to comparing myself to others, I just unsubscribe from people that invoke that feeling. Because I don't look at them. That's out of the question. That is in my control. So filtering information, scheduling time for worrying, trying to shift your mindset and controlling the things, not controlling, identifying the things you can and cannot control. And just being kind to yourself on that journey, because it's not easy, it's not fast, it is a lot of work. Self-reflection is a lot of work. Catching yourself doing these things. Ooh, I forgot about one more that I mentioned before. You distance yourself from overthinking or from negative thoughts. So you would find yourself in the rumination again. What you do, you say to yourself, I'm overthinking, just like you mentioned. That's overthinking. That already creates enough distance to kind of look at it from the outside and decide whether you want to engage or not. What do you guys think?
How do you withdraw from overthinking?
First of all, I want to say that I'm not really enjoy the way Valerie do, but this is okay because we are different people and we have different ways to solve our problems.
When you make time for worries or?
Yes, exactly, and especially about the brain training about these kind of things like overthinking or maybe something else. The reason here is not she's wrong. I don't want to say this. She's right in her own way, but what I want to say that I just have no time for this. I mean, if you want to tell me, okay, Albert, you need to spend some time to do this kind of practice, I say, come on, no, I just have no time.
If you need it, that's my point.
Even if I need it, I have plenty of work to do. Once I came home, I just cooking my dinner and I go sleep. Come on, this is my lifestyle.
You don't have to overthinking every time. My question is, when it comes to that time you overthink, how do you snap out of it?
Yeah, I will tell you now.
Yeah,
because
she's
I don't
just
think
giving us her own way.
Yes.
Way.
This is exactly what I said.
Okay.
She can have her own way, as well as you, as well as everyone here on this planet. I mean, and my way to solve these kind of problems, actually, it's so easy. I mean, it can seem like it's so easy, and actually it is. I mean, I really believe that people have problem in their mind, and I mean until it's not a really medical problems, but I mean some really mental stuff. But simple problems about the overthinking about other things, I think they exist until the time you're thinking about them. Once you will stop thinking about them, they will disappear. And this is my point to. I guess you missed my words, so probably I can repeat
Your
it.
point to stop overthinking is just to stop overthinking. Am I right?
Yes.
Then we wouldn't be here on this podcast for an hour if it was that easy.
Oh my gosh, you make it sound easy. For me, I
mean, not on the overthinking, but any other things which disturb us.
Okay.
They exist in our mind until you believe in them.
Oh my god, I have something to say.
Sure. In my opinion, once you understand this is not really exist, it will disappear.
But what if it exists?
Exist when you go outside and you see the green tree.
No, it doesn't work for everyone.
Probably. This is why we have different ways to do it.
I still don't get your point.
Maybe he doesn't overthink a lot.
No, that I understand that. I mean, this is a great quality to have, which I really admire. Like, I trained myself enough at this point to not overthink, and I feel very happy. But you need to get to that point. So I would have sympathy for people who find themselves in these difficult situations,
Like me.
like you, right? So if you overthink and you tell her it's very easy, just stop. It's not how that works for people who are already in this bad habit, because overthinking is a bad
Excuse
habit.
me, I want to mention it sounds easy. It may sound easy.
It makes it sound easy.
You make it sound. You look very confident, very happy, and this is a great quality. We all want to feel
this way.
this way.
So how did you get to this point?
Yeah.
That is the question.
Were you ever an overthinker? That's my question. Did you ever find yourself overthinking? Like,
Sure.
Maybe during the COVID
I mean, all of us have different situations, like broke up or like COVID, like any other things, and definitely we are overthinking sometimes. Maybe it's really because of my, man's brain.
getting sexist again.
Yeah,
But
I would agree
maybe
with
somehow
this
it
point.
works because it's
Because
really
it's
about
strong.
our hormones and about our style of life
Yes.
and some other things to.
I'm trying to be not sexist, but I do believe that men
This
are
is, this is
easier
about
to
our
deal with
bodies.
that,
This is about our bodies
Yes, the
and about
hormones,
how
the-
it works.
right?
I get the point now.
Right?
Probably. I'm not sure about it. I'm not a doctor. I'm
Me
not a
neither.
philosopher as well. I just can guess and we can just discuss.
As an advice, as a piece of advice, I would suggest to read more books about stoicism. Like, this really helps with overthinking and accepting the things that are out of your control. Like, this works for me, might not work for others. This what I find important. That would be my advice.
Overthink. I need to know what you overthink sometimes.
Yeah,
How do you snap out of it? Can you tell me? Like, this is my problem.
like in the vast desert, when I stood on the high end sand dune, you can meditate. You can staring at the natural things, like moon or sun, explore the aura of nature, and transfer the energy to purify your mind, body, and soul. Find the spiritual support that you can help you when the difficult comes.
So you channel the energy to nature?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, good point. Yeah, how do you guys do that?
Actually, I can do some parallel things. You see, he's talking about spiritual things. As well as people inside the city, they can speak about their hobbies as well. For example, Valerie, she's concentrating on searching the answers from art. It's a good way. Why not? I mean, you're trying to draw, you're trying to produce music, you're trying to meditate or do any other spiritual things, as well as you just trying to stay away from your overthinking. And as I told you before, I really believe in this. When you stay away from this, no, maybe no. Maybe I will not continue my. Yeah, I get. I'm on the fork now.
It's a good point. Yes, I'm going to continue talking about it. You need to channel, like, because overthinking is wasting energy, right? So you need to channel that energy in something
way.
else.
Sure.
You're a musician. I'm an artist. You are
I'm a YouTuber.
YouTuber, also creative person. Frank is a spiritual, mindful dweller. Are you a monk? He says no. Anyway. Anyway.
Like, what is monk in Chinese?
Buddha.
The people in the mountain, like Buddhism. Oh, kind of.
Oh.
It's kind of monk.
So you're spiritual animal. Let's call you that.
Okay.
Actually, I can understand him clearly because the people he was born, the people from where he was born, it's all about nature. It's all about animals and about surviving in nature, and it's like, yeah, from ancient times, many things there.
So the point is to channel your energy into something productive, into something that is important to you. And once you, so yes, now I know what you meant. Coming back to your point that you just stop overthinking, you just start doing something.
Because overthinking is
Action.
also doing something. It's also action, right? So you just change your action
Unproductive
to be
action.
productive.
Yes.
Oh, that's a
Wow,
good point.
I love that. We came to that conclusion.
Really, really.
Just do it. just do it.
You guys,
Wow.
I needed this. Apart from the podcast, I needed this. That's why I have podcasts.
It's like a group therapy session, right?
Exactly. So now let's talk about the self-sabotage, because when we overthink, it's very easy to self-sabotage because we feel like I'm overthinking something, so probably I'm not good at something, or so what's the not the healing? What's the best way to forgive ourselves? Because self-sabotaging is not forgiving yourself or trying to beat yourself over things over and over again. So what's the best way?
Sorry, I reach for the microphone like just give it to me. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. First, as I always like to do, we need to identify what the problem is, where the self-sabotage is coming from. If I love how you're like, oh well, again.
It's more like a lot of work to do, but it's true.
I've been
The truth is always detailed.
In 99% of this way, you will finally find that the reason was so easy to solve.
the thing is,
So
all this self-reflection journey, like I've been on self-reflection and mindfulness journey for more than 3 years now, and like it's a lot of work, but it's so worth it. If you met me a year ago, I was a completely different person. Anyway, self-sabotage is deeply rooted in the feeling of unworthiness. You feel unworthy of good health, of wealth, of happiness, love. That's why you keep sabotaging yourself and punishing yourself. Like, you feel unworthy of good health, you keep punishing yourself with food. Or it could be just one of the bad habits that you have, like that could have different roots to that. Or you keep messing up your relationships because you think you're unworthy of love. So, it's also a habit. It's not your identity, that's not you. It's just if you separate yourself from it, from the self-sabotage and like an entity that you have, like, oh, this is making me miserable. You can try and combat that. What do you think about self-sabotage?
it can really destroy you,
Exactly. That's the word. That's a strong word.
and it can be really dangerous. So, again, come back to my way. Please go outside. Please, because I really now I do remember why I get this point. I have an experience to travel through Nepal, and I hike in 25 days alone.
What?
I hiking 25 days alone. I did 300 kilometers, and these days I realized nothing actually, but it was my best experience in my life. And this is all about you're staying alone with yourself, and you have like a self-dialogue between yourself, and I don't know how to express this. By the way,
You give yourself therapy, like you are
there was no music, no other people, no other thoughts. You just
no noise.
no noise at least. Yes.
Sorry?
300 kilometers.
What? You hike 300 kilometers?
Yeah, 25 days.
Oh my gosh.
Like that wouldn't be my. Like,
Follow
that
my
would create
Instagram.
more stress for me. Like no, no. But that's amazing.
But I mean, you know,
That's
it's
amazing.
two things happened. First thing is it's a physical things. You're spending your energy because you're hiking. You always go up and down. You're spending your energy a lot, really a lot. You have no time to think about different things. But as well as you connected with nature a lot, and nothing is disturbing you. And I really want to say that it was my maybe best experience in my life to be alone with yourself. And maybe this is the reason why I always say just go outside and look. This is a tree and it's still green. I mean, everything is still okay in the world except inside your head.
Exactly.
Once you will understand this, you will get the point that everything just unnecessary. You're alive, you are still alive, you can eat, you have 2 legs as well as 2 hands, and your head is on your shoulders as well.
I
And
love it.
it means everything is okay.
To support your point,
Even
sorry.
if you
I think Frank can explain about this much more better than me because he's from this kind of culture where people do not have a lot of time to think about some crazy things. They just have to survive in desert, and they have completely different problems.
like the Asian days.
Yes.
I already interrupted. I'm just gonna say one word: gratitude. Just to sum up whatever you said, gratitude for for the things that you have. Right? You can breathe, you can eat, you can enjoy the weather. Gratitude.
Yeah, once you will understand this, definitely you will start thinking different about your problems. Even your problems can be really bad. I know it sounds easy again, but it's not easy at all. But I think it should sound easy. The right way is always easiest way.
But we just make it complicated.
We always make it complicated.
Do you
Exactly.
know Occam's razor?
What it is.
Occam's razor is a concept of the answer to things is the easiest one. Like, out of all the solutions and the answers, the easiest one is probably the most right one. Occam's razor.
Oh, this is why people crossing the road anywhere they want.
Yes!
I got it.
That's a hilarious answer.
Nature is one of the best things in my life. It has helped me overcome many problems and helped me become who I am today. It's always been my safe place and my escape of reality. I feel at ease when I'm in nature. It's like when I touch the rock with my feet, all my issues disappear and I am at peace. People all have a worship with the nature. Entering the uninhabited area. Wilderness. Let the dusty heart open a tree hole. Accept another self. Think, explore, and comprehend.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes.
Speechless. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I wrote down, I just need to point out again. Did you say I talk to rock with my feet or to the ground? I touch. Oh, I heard I talk to, okay, I completely understood
What's
it
the
in my
difference,
own way.
talk and touch? I mean, they
Yeah.
can have the same meaning.
Yes, so I wrote down I talk to ground with my feet, and I love that. Connection with nature is something that brings us all peace and gives us energy. Wow. I'm just gonna cut you all right there. Talk about self-sabotage. Again, I'm all about practical. I'm all about practical to give people tools to deal with things, because talking about it not always helps. Anyway, I'll keep talking. Just trying to be kind to yourself, train to be kind. Nobody's listening to me. Anyway, trying to be kind to yourself.
Oh, please go on. Go on. No, he was asking what's self-sabotage.
Oh. Yeah, how do we explain self-sabotage?
Yeah. It's when you don't love yourself at that moment.
When you do things to deliberately hurt yourself. You drink alcohol more than you should. You eat more than you should. You stay in bed and just destroy, like you said, destroy yourself. Yeah?
So have you ever been in this situation before? Like sometimes you overdo something and you just don't like yourself at a time, and you just find yourself drinking too much or talking to people you're not supposed to talk to, or accepting things that you know it's hurting you. Have you ever been in this situation before? And how did you get out of it?
And firstly, I never drinking or smoking. When the bad things come, I will control my mind, try to think the optimistic way and not influenced by others' mind. A warrior's mind should control by himself. And be water. Water can solve everything.
Water? Like drinking water?
Be water.
You water.
Be the water.
Oh, being like water?
Yeah.
Ah. Cool.
This is a really good word because
I'm learning some spirituality from French.
yeah,
Kind of like meditation.
I'm writing down things that he says.
Thank you.
we can express what he means. Like, for example, if we will speak about the water, you put the water inside the cup, as well as you will put the water inside anything. It will have the form of the same object where you pour the water.
Wow.
It can be vase, it can be pot, it can be glass, it doesn't matter. As well as water can.
It can be any shape.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Can I say that
Yes.
it means it's a skill to be flexible, enough. You cannot be completely flexible because there are so many things which can stop you. Morality, or maybe your own ideas as well. But to be flexible as water.
Wow.
It's a good idea to write down. As
I am so speechless every moment. Wow.
I love how it got so spiritual. I'm mind blown. So what I wrote down, I talk to the ground with my feet. I love that. Even though I modified what he said. Be like water. Be like water in the cup. Like, just, for me, what you said, it means to accept the circumstances the way they are. Which is, again, bringing us to the point of accepting the things that you cannot control. Just roll with it.
I mean, if you can fix it, just fix it. If you cannot,
Yes.
leave it alone.
Either accept it or fix it. Love it. Love it. Absolutely. There's one more point that I wanted to make.
So before you make the point, I
Yes,
checked,
sorry.
it was 55 minutes, so I think we're on 1 hour now. So
Last thing I'm gonna say, and I'm done talking, I promise. I promise.
okay, cool.
You need
I'm like a therapy session right now.
you need to be your own best friend. Like, you need to treat yourself like your own best friend. You wouldn't wish bad things on your right now think about your favorite person, your mom, your sister, your brother, your best friend. Would you tell them that they're worthless? Would you tell them you're a piece of, and just make them
Cookie.
piece of cookie, bad cookie? Would you do that to them?
YouTube is gonna-
Right? A piece of beep, would you do that to them? Would you make them suffer? Because self-sabotage is you inflict your own
Yourself.
suffering.
Exactly.
So, again, just stop yourself. Try stopping self-sabotage and just take care of yourself. Make yourself eat healthy dinner, like small steps. Stop watching negative, stop doom scrolling. I don't know, like, just take care of yourself. And I think it's a big problem that people just don't.
Realize.
They think they're unworthy of taking care of being taken care of. My grammar.
First taking care of yourself, and then second accepting from people.
First, accept that you have a problem. Accept you are the way you are, and you do things because it's inflicted by trauma or this deep feeling of whatever. Like, accept it. Then try to get out of it by being kind to yourself and treating yourself as your own best friend. Just trying to take care of yourself and not understanding that self-destruction is bad for you, obviously.
So I have a question for all of us here. How do you be yourself, your best friend, the best friend to yourself?
How to be?
How do you, in your own way, what's the love, and how do you show yourself kindness?
Again, in my way, as I told you before, and I wish everyone on this planet will have kind of the same experience as me. Try to find some time to stay alone with yourself. It can seem like it can be the reason of your self-sabotage, because you're staying alone with yourself. You started to cultivating the points which are not really important. But
Okay.
as again, as in my experience, when I get lost in the mountains for the 25 days, it really works. And when you're staying alone with yourself, you have enough time to think what is really important. And this is the way how you can be the best of yourself.
Yourself.
The reason here is you're staying alone and you have nobody who can help you, and you have nobody to talk with. You just have yourself, and this is the time to accept yourself. This is just my point of view, and I'm sure there are many different ways to get this point. But the point will be the same, but ways will be different. So,
Wow.
but my suggestion to all of the people who is suffering about these things, to find some time to stay with yourself a little. It can be 1 day, it can be 10 days, it can be different places, it can be your room, it can be some outdoor things. Just try your best.
Okay, thank you so much. Frank, how do you love yourself? How do you be the best friend to yourself?
When you look at the mirror, you find the true version of yourself, trying to eye contact with yourself and look inside of your heart. Talk to yourself. Every time after doing some sport, as the youth person, I feel satisfied and free. So I feel it's meaningful and phenomenal. So I feel myself is worth. Let your pain become your motivation. And the greater the suffering, the greater the peace.
Cool. This is deep. Alright, so like sports, and you try to see yourself. Is it like you look in the mirror, or you go inside yourself.
Can I say, feel yourself?
Feel yourself.
Just because someone's single doesn't mean they're lonely. Just like someone's in a crowd doesn't mean they're not alone. Spend much time with yourself. Do the things by yourself. It can stimulate your courage. Encourage yourself to look beyond the obvious and challenge us to think more deeply. Increase our perspective and open the flow of communication with the whole world.
Thank you. I think this is my sign to travel. I need to travel right now. It's been a while I traveled. Thank you a lot.
To be honest,
thank
the
you.
traveling things is really can solve many of your problems.
Oh my gosh, it
Because
did,
it can
and
make
I
your
want
head
to.
fresh.
I think next
Depends.
week.
I
depends
don't
on
like traveling that much. I am.
You can travel in yourself.
Yes, that's what I'm good at.
Okay,
So, like for
okay.
me, traveling is stress. So I wouldn't do that to myself to unload. Like I need to sit in my room in like very isolated
Close
conditions.
area.
So for me, that's my rest. For you, traveling or going outside is your rest. So again, we're coming back to the point that everybody's way is different, but the point
is the same.
Love it.
Cool. So in this case, how do you be yourself's best friend? Valerie?
Let me tell you, I'm my own best friend and fucking sorry, I'm my own.
Ban this video. It's you.
That's my fault. I'm my own support group. I'm my own friend. I'm my own parent and my own child. Like, I don't know, it sounds weird, but that's from therapy. Like, you need to cover your basic needs. You need to feed yourself, hydrate yourself, make yourself go out and do sports. Like, the basic things that make your body feel good, you need to force yourself to do. And not only force yourself, but convince yourself that it's good for you. Like, I'm doing this for myself because it's good for me. If I'm sick, I take a day off. If I am stressed, I cancel all my plans. So I put my needs in front of everybody else's. Not selfish needs, like in a good way, selfish needs. Like, if I'm stressed and I promise someone to go out with them, I'm like, I'm sorry, I need some rest, and I'll explain the situation and I'll take that time off. You know what I mean? So in that, like, to sum up, my own best friend as me would put my own needs in front of everybody else's. Again, in a good way. Like, my health, like, I don't drink and nobody else will force me to drink. I'll go out with my friends, but they're peer pressuring or laughing at me. It's okay. It's not gonna make me drink because I know what's good for me. Yeah. You need to know this about yourself. You need to know yourself enough to know what's good for you and what works for you. Taking a moment to think.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Ooh, we talked about a lot, right? And it's about, I think, an hour, 10 minutes. Let's just close, right? Does anyone have any question, contributions, or anything?
Yeah, it can be an endless speech, I think,
Exactly.
because
I
we
don't
always
wanna
get
stop.
some new ideas from both of
Yeah.
us, and that's really great.
Yeah, I think so.
I love that. Thanks to everyone making these great points, and I really learned a lot today.
Yeah, me too. Frank, do you have any question or contributions or anything before we close it?
Maybe even you can have any suggestions to people who are suffering of this kind of things.
People laugh at you because you're different. You should laugh at them back because they're all the same.
So what is the... Okay, that's another quote.
Yeah, writing it down. People are all the same.
So probably for me right now, overthinking. What is your best advice to people like me and other people out there on how to be calm?
Just
Go ahead.
Just go outside and take the air. Get connected with nature. Purify your body and soul. Find your spiritual animal that can support you when the harsh time comes.
No.
Imagine you,
Spiritual animal that will support you. What is that?
like my spiritual animal is a wolf. They're icy cool and united. Imagine you're a wolf running on the grass now, enduring coldness. When natural disaster comes, animals have to endure all the sufferings so that they can survive.
Okay, sorry. One more question, because I'm liking the spirituality here. What about people that wants everything to be cool? Like me and Dane, I want people to be nice. I want the world to be united.
That's out of
I
your
want
control.
yeah, exactly. What about things that are not in my control, but I just want to make things right? How do I just get myself?
The problem here is the meaning of right things are different. And for example, your meaning of right things can be different from Frank's meaning of right things, as well as mine and Valerie's well. So this is the reason I think it's not very. Again, I'm going to the same point as I start from. By the way, I'm thinking it's not very correct way to think in this way, like you want to do everything right because it's impossible. Life is not about right and wrong. Life is about it is how it is. And like Frank said, I really enjoy his words about the water. You should be flexible and be ready for right and wrong as well. And you just try to do your best to keep people going, to engage people, to live, to survive in this cruel world. And that's all.
The way to change the world is to start with yourself. That's all.
Okay.
You are in your control. That's all.
You cannot make everything right or wrong, because this planet is a very, very small piece of the big, big universe, and all the right things and wrong things, this planet do not care completely.
Yes.
Sun is rising every day, as well as going down for the sunset, and you cannot change it. This is a way to live, and everything is right and wrong is just in your head and in the heads of people in front of you. By the way, trying to change their mind is the best way. As Valerie said, you start to changing yourself, and by changing yourself you can give people an example how to do this, how to do that, and so on. But to make all the things on the planet in the right way, it's not possible, just because the meaning of the rights are different.
Thank you. Yes. I think we should end now.
Let's stop here and grab some coffee.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around with us, and just thank you. I'm gonna see you in my next episode. Okay. Bye.
Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye. All right. That was powerful.
It's gonna be a thunderstorm.
For sure.
Привет, я недалеко, если что-то нужно, я могу заехать. Что такое? Ну, сейчас пока.
I think we're good. The sound is not so bad.
Not bad?
And are you okay with me putting it on YouTube? It's okay. It doesn't go on WeChat.
Oh really?
Yes.
How many subscribers?
Just 2,200 and
Not
something.
just, it's it's plenty okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm actually doing this basically because if I leave China, I would like to go back to my videos and watch my videos. Not because of the subscribers mainly.
I mean, you have a good channel.
I'm just
Good
curious.
content.
You think so?
Yes.